Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and for today's video on Girls Frontline 2, we're going to be taking a look at the second part of the anniversary that'll be coming here very soon, and taking a look at the T-Doll that'll be coming out, Robella, as well as the reruns we'll be having, and then kind of discuss what Robella's kit is and whether or not you're going to want to pull on her. Now, I will be pulling for her on Thursday when she drops, and then also kind of going over her more into detail when I kind of showcase her on my live stream, which I may try and convert into a video at that point. But for now, let's just go ahead and get right into it. So we have the banner that Robella will be coming on right here. So she'll be getting paired with the SRs, Latara, and Cinia. Now, I mean, for anybody that's been playing since the game launched, not really too big of a deal at this point. Your main target is going to be Robella herself. And so what is Robella? Robella is going to be another unit for the Ice team. I remember when she was originally announced on the CN side, we were all thinking she was going to be electric just based on kind of her design. But she is another Ice unit, and she works quite well within the Ice team and their mechanics they have kind of going on. We'll just take a quick look at all of her kind of kit here. So, I mean, you have your normal basic attack. But if we go down to what her passive is going to be, kind of always start with the passive, that kind of builds upon the entire kit. She has Critical Insight, which is the passive buff. Robella gains Confectance Index at the end of her actions, and after performing Frigid Infiltration, she will expend all stacks of Inspection, which you'll see up here in some of her skills, where you're going to get those stacks of Inspection, on the target, and gains an equal number of Sense Weakness stacks, which increases the damage multiplier of her basic attacks and ultimate skill. When Robella has more than 2 stacks of Sense Weakness, her basic attack deals freeze damage, and her critical rate is increased. So just take note of that when we see those things being applied here within the rest of her kit. So right now her basic attack is just your normal basic attack, but it does get that buff when she gets those. And then we get into her first skill here. Applies Unity to allied targets, and then also gains extra command right after using the skill. So once she uses skill 1, she applies this buff to a teammate, and then can go again, basically, and do another one of her skills, which is always really nice within a lot of the T-Dolls. Kind of that supportive role, even though she's a damage dealer herself. But when we look at what Unity actually does with the person she's applying it to, when dealing freeze damage, attack is increased. When a unit with this status performs an active attack, or when performing interception. And I think that's the key thing. We have a lot of interception capability within the freeze team, and it deals damage to the enemy target. Robella applies Inspection as well, and then deals additional freeze damage to the target herself, so she's got her own counterattack to that. And then Inspection, as we've already read down here, at the end of the target's action, if it is in Robella's vicinity, it takes Frigid Infiltration Robella and takes freeze damage. So some more damage. She just stacks damage on top of damage and does her own counterattack and gets that stack of Inspection, as you already read in the passive. When she expends all stacks, they get that Sense Weakness. So pretty good right there. Works quite well with that and within the Ice team as a whole. And then we have the next skill 2, Radiant Memory, gains Radiant Rise, which increases the damage dealt by Robella. In addition, it upgrades Unity and Inspection effects on the battlefield to their enhanced versions, increasing their numerical multipliers. And after this, she gains Frost Barrier. I mean, the entire Frost team has Frost Barriers kind of throughout. Macchiato can put her own barrier up there. You have Suomi, who can put barriers on everybody, and she could have put a barrier on herself. And they all kind of take advantage of those barriers to do more damage because they don't want to have their health losing health. They'd rather have damage being taken to shields versus health. So good to see that she has her own built-in shield herself. And kind of looking at how this skill works, it almost feels like so with this, you're going to alternate between these two. You basically want to buff the skills and then switch over to them. And then we look at her final skill, her ultimate and AoE skill, deals AoE freeze damage to all targets in a fan-shaped area, which is a quite big AoE attack. And so when we look how we can kind of upgrade her here with the keys, we have the first 6 key: guard, vent, before allied units with Unity launch an active attack or interceptions, apply defense down to the target enemy. Big one here. Always been, I mean, I always used to throw Klukai in with my Ice team, or I pretty much threw her with in any team as kind of my defense down. But now they have it built into the team themselves with her coming to the team. And then we'll also have even more buffs coming to the ice team when I believe Elva drops, which is kind of the big one that really elevates them. So that one's like going to be a must-have unless you have something else like Klukai that you're bringing with your ice team to apply it themselves. But going to be very big on the Gunsmoke frontline there. We have Vixkey, third General Cloud. At the end of action, if Robella has Radiant Rise, she gains attack up. So giving her some more attack. After using Basic Attack, Ultra Shot, Robella gains Sense Weakness. So another thing to kind of apply and help with her passive here. Potentially useful there. Vixkey less than a Degenerate. When Robella or an allied unit with Unity deals freeze damage to an enemy unit with shield effects, shield pierce rate is increased and damage dealt is increased. That can be very useful for certain bosses that we've seen that have massive shields. You want some form of way to penetrate it a little bit. So it's going to be more specific for specific bosses, but it's always nice to have things for that. And Fixed Key Cool Protection. When standing on frost tiles generated by allies, gains extra movement. We got all kinds of ways that frost tiles are generated. And extra movement. And after using Basic Attack, Ultra Shot, or Ultimate Skill, Hollowing Cyclone. So after she does basically any of her skills, she will gain extra movement if she is on frost tiles. So pretty easy to kind of maneuver yourself to that point, and then she can take cover right after. And then you have Fixed Key Inner Calm. Before performing a Frigid Infiltration, cleanses buffs from the target. So now you have a cleanse. Cleanse are always good. A lot of the bosses have mechanics tied to cleansing them. And so having anybody within a specific element that can do it, which I believe Ice already had one, but having another is not going to hurt. It gives you a lot more flexibility within how you set up your team. And then our common key, when this unit gains shield effects, phase damage increase. Just going to be a generically good one for anybody that has shields, which is pretty much the entire ice team. But you can even see it if you're kind of doing a mixed team with someone like Suomi, who puts shields on everybody. This common key could then activate on them. So overall, pretty good. We'll look at the details when I pull for her on Thursday when she drops, and kind of actually look at some of the numbers here. Now, I know I have had a video in the past where I kind of showcased them from a spreadsheet. I'll actually put a link to the video in that if you want to actually see all those numbers when I covered her originally when she came out on the CN side. This right now, we're just kind of looking at it, the generic view for us coming out on global. Have her gun here as well. Column Judgment, freeze damage dealt is increased every time an out of turn attack is performed. And so now she is an AR user, so, or sorry, SMG user, so it's going to primarily apply to her. You could say Suomi could use it, I guess, too. But since the main damage dealers like Macchiato and that are snipers, not really going to be anything useful for anyone besides herself at this point. Gains one random buff if the user is at full HP. That's kind of the big thing we see a lot with the Ice team. A lot of buffs related to being full HP because they're all shield heavy. So just a generically good weapon that's going to pair very well for her there. And like we always see, it's always predictable. Basically every three rounds of after T-Dal comes out, 3 more patches later they basically rerun. This has been fairly consistent. So we now have, the Belka and Jian Yu dropping here. So if you hadn't picked them up before, I actually may pick up Jian Yu because she was one that I skipped. Actually, I think I skipped both of them. So I may actually just pick up these skipped ones as well. It could be a big pull day for me on Thursday. We'll just kind of have to see how lucky I get with Robella, but I think they're pretty much the only dolls I currently don't have because I skipped them, trying to conserve some of my pulls. But I've been pretty lucky on these last couple banners, so who knows, I might be able to pull them there, especially with Belka. I would really like to get Belka just for her skin. I mean, she's got a great skin that will be coming back on that patch as well. But overall, that's just a quick coverage of what's coming up. Now, with regards to whether or not you want to pull for Robella. Robella is just going to be, it's the mono ice team. If you really like the ice team, she's very good for them. Another damage dealer add on to it. Now, I do know from what I've seen, she's not going to out damage Macchiato. Macchiato's still going to be that core damage dealer, but bringing in more is always good. And then we're going to see the ice team in the future get an enhancement when Elva comes out, which is another big one that kind of elevates the ice team up a lot more. But we'll get more into her when she comes out. and kind of, let me see. It's kind of hard because they've kind of changed up how, like, the banner schedule's been all over the place with regards to how it happened in CN, so it's kind of hard to predict when she'll come out. But we've already got Florence and Lind, and we haven't gotten Lainey yet, which came out right after Robella. And then we had the free unit, was it Balthahide, that came out, and then Elva. And then after that, Voimastina. But they could always change up the order, and we could get Lewis or Helen or Phaetusia. I mean, there's a ton of other ones that come out after her, depending on the order. But I could say we could fully expect Elva to come here fairly soon. So while I think she'll be a good pickup if you were like the Ice team, you might be able to skip for now and then pull on her rerun. And we may have more information on Elva at that point too. You never know. She may rerun with Elva and then you just pull them together and now you can really elevate your Ice team. But overall, I think the Ice team is in a pretty good shape now. We know that from how they look on the CN side. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to be saving for Voimastina, which is another big broken unit. And I haven't really covered the latest new units, Sakura and Lorelei yet. I need to make a video on them. Because Lorelei is another fire unit alongside with Lewis. Like, Burn team has gone crazy. And Sakura is also Burn, actually. I didn't even realize that. Sakura, they're really just bringing out new Burn units. I need to really cover that team and the new stuff. I've only kind of glanced over them. But kind of, so you can kind of prepare yourself for future banners and if you want to pull or skip on these current ones. But that's it for now. What's coming up in this next banner. I know a lot of people may have pulled heavily on Levacy may not have some pulls, so like I said, you can always save up. We can predict that she's going to come back here in 3 more patches. So that'll be it for now. I will be pulling on Thursday live stream, so if you want to come and watch me do my polls, see if I can continue my luck streak, because I think I haven't lost a 50-50 over the last couple patches. So who knows? Maybe I'll end up losing a 50-50 on this one. But that'll be it for now, and if you like my content, if you can like, comment, subscribe, it really helps, and thanks for watching.